Yeah, good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, and welcome to the latest edition of Views on the News.
Was the Pope appealing for peace, or was he praying for peace?
And the same applies to the carry on drag.
Yeah, that's a good question. So what do you have to say about that, guys?
Well, the cream has definitely floated to the top tonight because we have a panel of one, and it's the best one. Dread, how the devil are you?
Pretty darn good, thanks.
Good, yeah, but up to your knees in snow.
Yeah, it's kind of cream of the north, right?
Yeah. Frozen cream. Yeah.
Frozen cream, yeah.
Minus,
the
minus,
yogurt.
yeah, minus 19.
Minus 19. Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah, I can't even contemplate that.
Yeah, well, and minus 28 overnight.
Yeah.
I have to plug in my vehicle overnight for it to start. So.
Yeah. You got a sump warmer?
Well, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Allows the battery to crank over,
Yeah. Well, I don't envy you, I'm afraid. I'm not.
Yeah, I wouldn't do this voluntarily unless it was good money, right?
That's right. Yeah. Warmer climes if you can get them. Yeah.
Aye, that's it.
Anyway, views on the news. So I want your view on this item of news, which hails from the United States. You know, that country to the south of you that wants to make Canada into the 51st state.
Yeah. That place.
Yeah, that place. Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. Yeah. So this is about members of a secretive Christian sect known as the Truth, or alternatively, the 2x2s, whatever that's supposed to mean. Something to do with an ark, I guess.
Oh, I see. Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, what's been happening some years ago, might still be happening, I don't know, but back in the late 1980s, any woman who gave birth without previously being married to somebody else, also in the sect, cult, I think is more accurate,
Sure.
was made to give up their baby. So pregnant women...
To the organization?
Well, the organization arranged the adoption to approved people, and some of whom were actual officers of the church. I think they called them workers of the church. But this gets worse because not only were these poor women who, you know, it was a love child, basically.
Right.
And they hadn't bothered with the formalities of marriage. But they had their babies taken away before they heard them cry, before they knew not only whether it was a boy or a girl, but even whether it was dead or alive.
Okay.
They were pressured into giving up their baby to a married couple who was in the church. And subsequently, some of these babies were then abused by the couple that they were forced to be adopted by. Let me just read you some of these accounts. It's quite harrowing. And in fact, the FBI has since launched an investigation about this church, about the action of this church, which is believed to have about 100,000 members worldwide, believe it or not. So
that's quite a sex ring.
Yeah. So this is a BBC report. 4 women who are all unmarried at the time have told us they were given no option but to give up their babies. 3 of them feared being cast out of the church and sent to hell if they refused. One said she was pressured into giving her baby to a married couple in the church after she was raped, age 17. My fear of going to hell was so great that it forced me to make up my mind to give up the baby, she told the BBC. There's more harrowing stories like that.
Well, was she raped by someone in the church?
I've no information about that, I'm afraid. No. But there's at least 100 of these children that were taken away from their mothers and adopted under the organization of the church.
Right.
They're all over the US, and they're called Baldwin babies because the overseer of this process was Wally Baldwin, a doctor from the sect who died in 2004. One woman who was an adopted child recalled seeing hundreds of photos in an album that Dr. Baldwin kept of the children whose adoptions he had organized.
Right. Wow.
Somewhere, this is a mother, she's now 62. She says, somewhere the church got off track and became a fear-based cult, and I was forced to make a choice. She became pregnant after falling madly in love with a boy from her school, but they were unmarried, and worse than that, the father wasn't a member of the sect. So she was forced to give up her baby to another family or go to hell. How ridiculous. I mean, I'm speechless that this sort of thing, it's deception squared, isn't it?
Absolutely. And half the issue, of course, is people are put into such a state that is a reality for them. You know what I mean? Like the possibility of hell is a real thing, to be worried about. I mean, it's bad enough that the kid gets adopted out, but that it should ever get there is horrible. I mean, certainly it just speaks to the need for more critical thinking.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like it's got to be taught in schools and stuff like that because, man, you could save a lot of grief for a lot of people.
Sure could. Yeah. So that was a story of one of the mothers. This is a story of one of the adopted children.
Okay.
One woman said she was removed from her first adoptive home by social services because of extreme physical abuse and was placed in the home of a church elder. Apparently that's a person who is senior and he holds meetings in his own home with his wife.
Oh, okay.
She said the couple started sexually abusing her within weeks when she was 15. Another one said she was beaten by her adoptive parents on a daily basis and sexually abused by an uncle in her adoptive family when she was 5. What would Jesus...
So she didn't have to wait for hell, right? She got it right away.
Yeah. I don't know. These are people who claim to have moral standards.
Well, of course they do, yeah. Yeah. Wow. No, it's horrible. It's horrible.
So, staying with the US of A, on Thursday just gone, President Donald Trump spoke as part of the National Prayer Breakfast festivity.
Right.
Yeah, this is a ceremony or a festivity that we don't have in the UK. National Prayer Breakfasts. Anyway, he spoke at two venues. One was the Capitol's Statuary Hall. This is in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
And another one was at the Washington Hilton. And he announced, he said that religious belief is central to the United States. And he announced
what is?
Religious belief
What's? Oh, okay.
is central to the United States. And
Right.
he announced that he would create a new presidential commission on religious liberty.
Yeah. Was it the faith minister or faith ministry or something like that? Or it's like a cabinet position or some damn thing.
Well, yeah, he's appointed a woman,
Yes.
a pastor from
Right.
Florida,
Right.
who you're right. She was the one who ended his last presidency in his faith office, in the White House faith office. He's
Faith
reappointed.
office. That's the one.
Yeah. He's reappointed her. But this is what he said at these speeches. From the earliest days of our republic, faith in God has always been the ultimate source of the strength that beats in the hearts of our nation. We have to bring religion back. We have to bring it back much stronger. God help you, America.
No doubt. No doubt. And of course, you watch him at the inauguration there. Ivanka's got the Bible, and he doesn't have his hand on it. Like it's just such a obvious, It's just a play. It's there's no grounding in reality for it.
No,
it's just
he's
like
not.
all he does is say stuff, and
exactly.
He's not talk.
He's not devout, is he? He's just saying whatever he thinks will win him votes.
Yeah. And he doesn't even pretend to believe it. Like
no.
It's really bizarre just how captured Americans are, enough to have got him into office. Just how captured they are by, just such a vacuous man.
Yeah. Well, the other thing he said is he's also going to create a task force, which will be overseen by Attorney General Pam Bondi, that will eradicate anti-Christian bias.
Right. Yeah. So, so this faith office is only to serve Christians?
It's to
Does
promote.
He fancy himself, Emperor Constantine or something like that? Like.
Yeah. It's to promote Christianity.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Lucky America.
Yeah. Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, you think about just, around the world, Christianity is kind of falling off.
Yeah.
So, how would you even go about trying to make it more convincing? I mean, it's just, I don't know.
Well,
it's already silly.
Yeah.
And they just don't appreciate that it's silly. Like I understand that Pastafarians are a silly bunch, but at least we are self-aware,
Yes,
we don't take ourselves too seriously. So
no.
But Christians, I've had people say, well, you can't possibly believe in flying spaghetti monster. And it's like, well, do you actually know what you believe in? Like, you're looking at me saying I'm ridiculous, and you're not getting the whole gestalt of, umwelt of where you're at. Like, come on.
Yeah. Given a choice, I'd far rather worship pasta than a genocidal, non-evidential maniac in the sky.
Exactly. Yeah, no doubt.
Anyway, let's go to the other side of India, Bangladesh, which is used to be East Pakistan years ago.
Right.
But when the British Raj fell apart and that peninsula was segregated, the Muslims all went up into West Pakistan, and then a few of them ended up in what was briefly called East Pakistan, or what has now become Bangladesh. Guess what? They don't like girls playing football.
A women's district-friendly football match in the northwestern city of Jaipurhat was cancelled. A student-led protest from a traditional religious school damaged the venue where the local side was hosting a team from Rangpur city. The reason behind the protest, the students say women playing football is un-Islamic.
The Islamists in our area gathered in a field and marched toward the venue. There were hundreds of them. The situation worsened and we had to cancel today's event.
But the leader of the violent protest was not the students. They were only acting on instructions. They were mere protesters following the commands of the headmaster of the school, Abu Bakr Siddiqui.
Girls' football is un-Islamic. It is our religious duty to stop anything that goes against our beliefs.
School headmasters set principles. They established the value system for students to follow. The very people who go on to form a significant part of a country's future. It's the headmaster who helps students decide what's the right from the wrong. The headmaster here feels that it is his religious duty to stop women's football because it goes against religious principles. What's concerning is that this isn't the only instance of a women's football match getting cancelled in the country. Just a day earlier, another game was delayed indefinitely. This in the nearby city of Dinajpur. A similar demonstration took place where protesters forced the match to be cancelled just half hour before kickoff. And what's worse, the protest was not a peaceful one. 4 people got injured in the tussle. 2 incidents in 2 days spells out clearly that sentiments against women footballers is only intensifying in this country.
So clearly not just against women footballers, women.
Yeah,
period.
Exactly. We've seen it before. It started in Afghanistan a couple of years ago when the Allies left, and we've ended up with women not being allowed to be educated, having to be draped in a burqa, not being allowed out without a male accompaniment. With the full second level citizenship has been applied, and it looks as though Bangladesh is going down that route.
Yeah, incredible. Yeah, Islam is such a horrible religion.
Yeah,
there is just no good side to it. It's horrible.
Yeah. Yes, somebody said, I was in a conversation last week, I think it was, that the religion of peace would be better called the religion of pieces, because
who was that? Yeah, that wasn't that David?
I can't remember who it was now, but it was
last week.
Yes, that's right. It was so apt because, of course, when they do a suicide bomb, that's what happens.
And it was David, because
was it? Yeah.
And that's what he pointed out.
Yeah.
You end up with pieces of them all over the place.
Yeah, that's right. They're scattered everywhere. Yeah. Oh, you got to laugh.
Yeah, so, indeed. Yeah, in a tragic way.
Yeah. coming to the UK, because we're not perfect over here. At the moment we've got a nasty outbreak of bishops resigning. I should say a nice outbreak, really, shouldn't I? I mean, fully in favour of the entire.
That's a rash you want.
Yes, indeed. I'm fully in favour of the entire clergy resigning.
Right. Yeah, no doubt.
Anyway, this is a former Archbishop of Canterbury,
Right.
George Carey, who has not only he's retired a long time ago. There's been a couple of archbishops since him, but he is now quit as a Church of England priest. He's given up his frock.
Okay.
And this is because.
So he's unfrocked, not defrocked.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So this is because of what he did back in the 1980s when he was Archbishop of Canterbury.
Okay.
And it concerns a priest of the name David Tudor, who allegations were made against him that he assaulted teenage girls. So he was banned by the church for 5 years, but Carey, the then Archbishop, allowed him to return under supervision. And this
under supervision?
Yeah, not very effective supervision. This kiddie fiddler was only sacked as a priest last October.
Wow.
So this is all being stirred up because of another case of sexual abuse of minors that has brought to book the most recent Archbishop of Canterbury. We don't have one at the moment.
No, okay.
The Archbishop of York is standing in, but the most recent one was forced to resign because it was pointed out that he had condoned a similar case more recently than this particular one. So this ex-archbishop resigned, saying he was surrendering his permission to officiate, presumably from God, and that it had been an honor to serve. So,
wow.
So the story goes on, ramifications.
Sure.
But
it just really never ends, does it?
Yeah, that's right. He claims that he can't remember this particular priest that he agreed could return back to the flock.
Right.
But evidence exists showing that he advocated for his return and forced a diocese to take this disgraced priest against their will.
Right. Yeah, there'd have to be some kind of a paper trail, right?
Yeah, exactly. So he's now resigned. So that's the
right.
Okay.
Great.
So that's the second archbishop. We've got the ex-recent one. He's an ex-former one, but the current guy standing in, Archbishop of York, Stephen Cottrell, is also at the moment resisting calls to resign in relation to this same guy, Tudor, who has only just been sacked.
Okay.
So, the rot.
Yeah.
It's spreading.
For sure.
Yeah,
pretty indefensible.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's funny. I got a transcript of the court case when I went to BC Supreme Court.
Yeah.
so the judgment, the judge had said basically that, you know, I had admitted that I wasn't sincere about being a Pastafarian, and that's why he kind of found in the other party's favor. And then when I got the transcript, of course, says completely opposite.
Oh, yeah.
And part of what the respondent, you know, the BC Human Rights Tribunal said, part of their justification for their position was that it's they're trying to foster goodwill between people and religious groups. And of course, we come here every week and listen and hear about, you know, how these religious groups are essentially evil and rotten.
Yeah.
And what good are we trying to foster with them?
Yeah. They all want to give up.
Exactly.
It
just boggles my mind.
Yeah, why are we trying to keep them going and keep them, you know, friendly with each other? It's nonsense.
It is nonsense.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So the last news item today, it's more positive, except that it doesn't really deliver the goods. Because we have as you know, we have a House of Lords, and a Liberal Democrat peer, Baroness Burt of Solihull, gave the second reading of her bill to revise school assemblies. Now, you need to know that thanks to the 1944 Education Act, schools in this country are required by law to hold a daily assembly of a wholly or mainly Christian character, unless they are of another religious nature already, like, you know, Judaism. So that's all of the state schools, apart from the ones that have already declared themselves to be Jewish or Muslim.
Right.
They're not allowed to be non-religious. They have to hold this morning assembly of the entire school, which is Christian. Now, you'll be pleased to hear that that is a law which is largely disregarded. Very few schools follow that law.
Okay, but it's still a law that's on the books.
They're being illegal, these schools that don't do it.
Right.
So anyway, it's an anomaly. It's an anachronism. And
of course, yeah. It's kind of like the blasphemy laws that didn't get abrogated here in Canada until '84.
Well, you were better than us. We didn't ban blasphemy until 2008.
Right.
Yeah. And anyway,
well, does that leave an in for Pastafarians then to have an assembly in British schools for Pastafarians?
Not legally, no.
Oh.
Anyway, this peer, this baroness, it's the second reading of her bill to revise the assembly law, to get rid of the requirement for it to be Christian. She wants it to be non-religious. Right. She wants it to focus on moral, social, and cultural development. And there's lots of other things that you could usefully do in assembly other than worship.
Critical thinking. Yes.
So there's been all sorts of polls going on. In fact, a YouGov poll in 2019 asked parents to rank a list of 13 possible activities that could take place in a school assembly, and they put collective worship last.
Right. Good.
Instead, in front of religious worship, they ranked the environment and nature, physical and mental health, the celebration of achievements, equality and non-discrimination, charity and volunteering, relationships and self-esteem, exploration of moral and ethical issues, humanitarian issues, historical events, art and culture, education about other religions and beliefs, and politics and government. So anything but Christianity.
Nice.
However,
That's
sadly,
Oh.
without government backing, the
Oh, no.
the Baroness's bill will not become an act. There you go.
Huh.
That's the mother of parliaments.
Jeez. Well, that's too bad.
There you go.
Well, they should have spaghetti lunches.
Yes. Yes. I think so too. So I want to promote the Free Thought Hour that we live streamed yesterday, Tercia and I, because we had Nuria Khan, the brave ex-Muslim atheist campaigner who is very articulate. She's got her own channel, Holy Humanist, and she was our guest. And I've just made, what is it? How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 clips from the hour interview chat that we had last night. And I'll be gradually, yeah, you can have them if you'd like, and put them on your channel.
Yeah, that'd be great.
How would you like them sent?
Yeah, you can send me links, I guess.
So after I've
uploaded,
them, I'll send you links to where you can grab them.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you bet. And before we go, I had touched on something I've been working on, which is fashioned after Martin Luther's 95 Theses. We call it I'm calling it the Newly Proclamations, 22 Theses on state neutrality and religious equality. And it's something that's, we may look to make a trip to Victoria and pin this onto Parliament's door, just like in 508 years ago, and start a reformation. But political for, like I say, state neutrality and religious equality. Because, I'm going to send them as a document to you. You can have a look at them.
Yeah, great. Yeah, thank you.
And then if you want to do, if you want to have a proper interview outside of this venue, we can work something out, and I'd be happy to talk about it.
Great. Yeah. Well, consider yourself booked for some future Free Thought Hour with Tercia and I. Yeah.
Cool, that'd be great. So I'll get those to you right away, and you can have a gander.
Great. Yeah.
Cool.
So I'm trying to plug the Atheism UK campaign, which is Break Free.
Right.
And so you may notice that tonight's outro is different. So listen to this. Thanks a lot, Dread. Thanks very much for being my panel member.
Amen.
Cheers.
Whoa!